Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning, students. This is Dr. Mirza. I'm back with this new chapter, that is transport systems. As you all know, transports, which we have discussed in chapter 2 and 4 as well. This chapter is a very easy one compared to the others, but there are some learning outcomes which you need to focus on with regards to business logistic processes and basic modes of transport, and then how they explain each of them on the different areas of the goods being transported and functions of freights forward, transport brokers, and then the logistic channels and why government involves themselves in transport. That is as per the South African government. But in all, this is a more talked about transportation, which is how logistics makes it more important process for any given transport. In this now, the air transport, which is an important part. If now, if I talk about air transport, in most countries, air carriers convey less than 1% of air freight. That is the traffic I am talking about. Although increasing numbers of users are using air freight, it is mostly used as an emergency service because of high costs. So here, operational overview: fast, short transit time, long distance service, high value freight, and then the types of carriers: air parcel, courier and express service, passenger aircraft and cargo, that is freight, all cargo and aircraft, that is air freight is determined by types of commodity, demand of characteristics, and that is nature of distribution. You can just go through page number 350 and check this out on the different types of operational view, and the 4 types of carriers and air freight is determined by. The 4 types of air carriers, which are usually air parcel, postal service, couriers and express services, regular scheduled passengers, carriers, that is freight, all cargo and so forth. So this is how air transport is done. Now, talking about the air transport strengths, the strength is an aircraft attain high speed over long distance, that is talking about which, if utilized productivity, leads to increased revenue to the user. This feature of air transport has expanded the geographical range of markets for high value perishable goods such as cut flowers, or the mode does not even have encountered any physical on mode of obstacles or route of obstacles as other modes do. Aircraft can follow a straight flight path, while the routes of other modes are circuitous. For example, the flight distance between a country in South Africa, that is Cape Town and Johannesburg, as explained, could be 1,270 kilometers, or between Jeddah or Riyadh, or you can talk about something like that. The two cities have different 1,393 kilometers. Air freight is not exposed to unfavorable in-vehicle conditions for long periods, but that is how the goods traffic, or the high security which is talked about here in those packaging costs and the long distance and reliability. Limitations we talk about, that is not door-to-door, terminal bound, low carrying capacity, low frequency relative to road terminal congestion, sensitive to inclement weather terminal, low sensitivity market coverage, high unit costs, and that is some of the important areas. Now moving on, road transport operational overview. For a particular road transportation, if you see, that has replaced rail carriage as the dominant form of long distance freight transport. Road freight carriers can transport goods of various sizes and masses over long distance on long hauls called through traffic on trunking, or whenever a long trip is from door to door. That is how comprehensive, flexible and versatile and reliable vary of operational views, that is for a particular road transport in consideration to the transport. The combination of freight and vehicles can be divided in other, like a rigid truck, a truck tractor, a truck semi a trailer or a big trailer or a truck. So the combination of vehicles are well suited to haul heavy and volumes of consignments over long distance, and therefore there are 12 different types of trailers that are semi trailers also, and so forth, which takes the different kinds of consignments and loads across different areas, or have flexibility or versatility or reliability. Moving on, the different types of commercial roads, as I just told you, rigid, combination, truck, tractor or tractors and so forth. Then the types of trailers and semi-trailers, that are van, refrigerators, refrigerated van containers. I mean, you all are very much aware of this. I don't need to explain much here. The strengths of the road transport: door-to-door service, accessibility, and so forth. As you can check on with your textbook also in page number 354 and 355. Road to road, door to door is nothing but limited to a fixed route or terminals. Consignments can be conveyed directly from a shipper to a consigner or receiver or a consignee without a need for a special terminal. Accessibility, good market coverage, that is economical active region in the world, therefore deliveries are usually prompt, freight protections and so forth. Then we have speed, securities for those kind of important areas. Now moving for another high frequencies, we can see the limitations that are carrying the capacity, that is the dimension and gross mass of road vehicles are limited through legislation. High environmental impact, vulnerability to external factors, high energy consumption, shared right of way means, that is on public roads the right of way is shared with other traffic, which increases safety and security risks, and the occurrence of unexpected delays, an accident involving a truck with a hazardous goods or particularly on board may result in a road closure or lasting several hours. In addition, the accident risk could be a road vehicle or a vulnerable theft or something of a hijack or some other ways. So this is about shade of right way, that is now talking about freight characteristics: able to carry comprehensive range of goods, high value finished goods. You can check, that is very important, again talking about suitable for collections and distribution of intermodal operations where more than one mode of transport is used. Then we can understand the rail transport, that is an operational view which talks about limited to fixed routes, that is again divided into two classes: unit trains and wagon load trains. That is, with the unit train all wagons are connected in a fixed set carrying the same commodity, and operate between same origin and same destination travel without being split up. They are sorted in a marshalling yard but may stop in freight yard, that is usually in the unit train siding for inspection, locomotive servicing and crew changes and so forth. Now this wagon load trains have different freight characteristics also. That is, if you check on covered wagons, vans, a refrigerated wagon or a flat wagon or a tank wagon or well wagon. There are different ways of open wagons also, that is given on page number 37. I think there are a lot of important things you can just understand on different types of wagons or motor cars that are used in some countries in the Eastern Europe, Asia and all that. Moving on, we can understand from this how typical strengths of a particular road or a particular rail transport. As I just told you about wagons, now rail transport is any type of a particular strength can be able to carry comprehensive range of goods, bulk carrier over long distance, efficient long hauls, exclusive right of way, no affected by inclement weather, rolling stock cannot easily be stolen. Strengths, that is dedicated unit trains can achieve short transit times and same thing like energy and low accident rate. Moving on, rail transport limitations also, not door to door, then it needs to be supplemented, and then it requires high capital value, and you can just check this out also. Then we have some other important areas to cover, that is pipeline transport. Infrastructure. Now what it means here, that is a particular infrastructure, unique characteristics of a pipeline, that is it does not necessarily require a return journey or return pumping process. This eliminates your joint cost. Product intake, haulage and discharge are combined in one process. Pipelines are suitable for short and long run hauls, that is for few meters between tanks on a continent and thousands of kilometers on transport, that is transcontinental links of fluids such as crude oil, petroleum, liquid chemicals, water, gas and so on and so forth. So this is different commodities can be pumped, not labor intensive. Strengths, we can just check out the strengths, and then we have limitations also. Sea transport, similarly, the most important one, which talks about what in the areas of how ocean carriage is the most cost effective, you can say, way of transporting high bulk commodities, and therefore the most likely, that is, or widely used international shipment method. It is used for both inbound and outbound shipments, although there are usually unbalanced flow of freight. The development of large bulk carriers has enabled sea transport to assume a vital role in transport of bulk material, so most widely used. Then in many countries, water transport is limited in international deep sea. Shipping has become highly specialized from 1960. Bulk carriers, container vessels, conventional cargo vessels, roll-ons and combination of carriers, high boat ships, livestock carriers, etc. You can check this as I just told you. These are some of the important areas of how the sea transport happens, and the strengths and limitations you can understand by reading the slides and take it further. A terminal. Now what is a terminal? A terminal is the area end of a route where the routes meet, a branch out across where goods are transferred. This is Again, we have seen what is a terminal, and then we have even seen what is a terminal is a special area situated at the end of the route or where different route meet a branch out or cross. Terminals include structures, equipment wherein transit goods are transferred between different carriers, modes of transport, or you can say vehicles of the same mode. You can even get in where goods are transferred, like for example links or accommodate mobility for modes, and then B1 nodes, fixed points in the system networks where modes and goods come to a rest. A terminal is a type of a node. For example, also you can take the point of materials or place of processing, warehouse, marketing facilities, and so forth. Airports, terminals, you can, as I told you earlier also, the airport terminal, which is one more important area. Now, types of terminals, as I just told you, rail terminals, tank terminals, sea ports, others which are very important. Functions of terminals, and then the goods carried in transport system, three broad groups: raw material, the particularly goods carried in the transport system. Five factors concerning goods influence. Now, the five factors which are very important. Now, if you can see in transit, that is necessity, that is by the intrinsic properties of the goods. Actually, very seriously talking about it, the characteristics of goods means goods that can be grouped into raw materials, semi-finished goods, and finished goods, and that can be isolated or can be stored, handling, storage, or carriage. That can be five factors again. That is again, as the slide is showing, you can in transit care, that is having forms. You can even name it animations or destructibility, fragility, wetness, potential dangers, and then density also. I think perishability, one more factor that comes into play here, means the goods perish because of natural physical deterioration or because of some problem they might get demolished. So here you can understand the freight transport service providers, then accessibility, mobility, and then trans operators. Another party lose on how private transport they operates, professional carriers, the third parties, because accessibility is the availability of a transport, to close to users and potential users, and reflects the ease with which destinations can be reached. And the mobility is the frequency of transport activities or the intensity with which users make use of a transport system or a service. So this transport operators have private transport refers to a firm, means that operates its own leased or a hired vehicle or accessory or ancillary or a secondary business function or use make of professional carriers. Now moving on, we have freight transport service providers. You can check this out, government stakeholders, and then that's all for the slides. Students, I would like to stop the video here and hope to get back to you with another video next time. Have a good day. Thank you very much. Bye.